when you come across a baby alligator on the hike through Florida swamplands, two thoughts immediately occur. And no, it's not, man, I wonder where his mama is. No, it is, first of all, no touching of the alligator, because you need your fingers to type out real estate contracts. And the second is, man, what a great co-star would this little guy make for an impromptu real estate video. So it got me thinking about the alligator housing market, because here in the swamp, alligators really only have two criteria. Let's say that he was to move out of his mom and dad's lily pad, or wherever alligators live, hire me as his buyer's agent, and I were to find a house for him. Well, he'd be a dream of a client to work for. You know why? Because for alligators, there's really only two criteria for housing, and that is, one is their water, and two is their food. And here in Florida, as you can see, there is always water and there is always food. For us other Florida natives, things aren't quite so easy. As we make our return to human civilization, let's talk some aspects that are going to affect the criteria of our own home buying decisions. And we're not talking about, preferables like, oh, I want counters this color or this style of flooring. We're talking about factors that are going to either drive up or drive down our insurance costs, because that's a significant part of considering cost in a home. Some things that are going to affect it, one is location. So in Pensacola, Florida, obviously, we're a flood zone largely. If you go down by the Gulf or some other swampy areas or by rivers, so you're going to want to consider that. Am I in a flood zone? Because that's going to drive insurance prices up like crazy. And then also wind mitigation features, because this is a common area for hurricanes, tornadoes. Do you have hurricane straps on the home? Are there shutters? That kind of stuff. We think also about the roof, because that's something that's a huge cost in a home, even though we don't think about it a lot until we've had to foot the bill for one. If you think about roof age, typically insurance companies don't really like roofs that are over 15 years old. And a lot of them are going to be asphalt shingle roofs around here, and that's kind of the age on those. Tin roofs or metal roofs will last longer, so that can be good for insurance. And then actually a listing I have right now has a tile roof, which is a little bit more rare out here, but you see that a lot out west. So you may have the occasional home with those too, and those are, a little more durable than asphalt roofs. But they all need to be maintained and they all need to be taken care of, and it's expensive for all those things. So insurance is going to consider that. So if you think about internal structures, that's going to be electrical and plumbing and things like that. So for electrical, we want copper wiring. That's the new updated stuff. It's safer. Aluminum wiring is the old, and it's dangerous, and insurance companies don't like it. Worse fire hazard, and so that's gonna, drive up costs some too. So consider that. You want your plumbing in order, obviously, and your HVAC and the water heater and stuff. These are all costs you're gonna have to consider when looking at a home and thinking of overall cost beyond just the purchase price. Yourself up for a satisfying home buying process is not unlike setting yourself up for a good drive in golf. Let's say that you're ready to buy a home and you're all pre-approved for a mortgage, you got your budget in order, and you know what you want. Things are looking pretty good to be able to tee off. Well, if you want to set yourself up on the fairway for a smooth roll into the hole and into your new home, you have to know what club to use to get you there. So let's say we're looking at a home, and here we have a nice brand new roof. There's copper wiring in the electrical systems, and the plumbing and the HVAC and the water heater are all in order and good to go. We're not in a flood zone. These things are going to lower insurance costs and make it for a smoother closing process into our new home, and that's what we want. So as we go to put in our offer and look into this house, things ought to go pretty well because we've set ourselves up to make it go well. But instead of that, let's say that you wanted to use, instead of a nice driver, an old 60s brassy. Here we have a very nice finish. It's smooth looking, but you have to keep in mind that trendy and clean looking finishes can often cover up defects in older homes. So let's say here that the roof shares a birthday with your first car, and there's aluminum wiring in the systems, minor repairs needed internally, and it's just not going to be as good. It's going to raise more needs for inspections and appraisals, which could get bumpy. It's going to just make for not as smooth of a closing process. And if it's the house you really want, possible, but not optimal. Now, if it has to be that you must have this home, you can give it a shot, but it's probably not going to look very pretty. Ow, or you're going to miss it completely if you hit this thing. Anyways, let's say that you wanted to even set the bar lower than that and drive off with an old 50s putter. Well, here we have a home that's laughable. The roof needs completely replaced. All the internal systems need replaced. We're in a flood zone, and the name on the title is Ricky the Raccoon. probably not a shot even worth making, kind of like trying to drive a par 5 with a putter, which sometimes with my golf game, I think I should just use putters all the time, but objectively, it's just not quite as good. It's kind of like, you know, not optimal, guys. Well, folks, per tradition, we are back at the Monopoly board to discuss our strategic implications for today. And you may be wondering, now what does a Monopoly board have to do with Gators and golf? Well, I'll tell you. I don't know. But it's a tradition! So the main strategic takeaway from this topic of inspections and appraisals, which the mortgage company is always going to want done, and you can see how it adds and affects the value of your home, is that you may get the seller to pay for it. Normally a cost you're going to have to front as the buyer, but in a buyer's market, the seller may be willing to cover that cost for you. So if you're ready to start this journey, I'd love to travel the road with you. Reach out to me, DM me on Instagram or Facebook, or reach out in the comment section on YouTube. I'd love to travel this road. Let's get this ball rolling for you guys. It's an exciting time to buy real estate.